All right. Good evening again, okay.
Evening, Mr. Kingsley.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining, everyone. I think we still have people joining.
Good evening, Pelumi. Good evening. Okay, when do we start?
You said?
When do we start?
When do we start? I think we can start
Yes.
now. Or should
Okay.
we still?
Uh,
Okay, I think we can start
um.
now.
Okay. Okay. It's 5 p.m. All right.
Yes.
You can begin.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Obafumi, Obapelumi. Good evening, Mad Foundation. Good evening, Corey. I'm trying to greet everyone that has joined already. Good evening, Collins. Who else is on the call? Okay, thank you all for joining us today. This is Leader Sports Company, and I am Olaronke Moses. And I have with me Mr. Kingsley, and he's also going to introduce himself. So, but I know that I'm doing this mini introduction by just calling his name, Mr. Kingsley Chukuma, the president of Leader Sports Company.
Should we
Please,
clap?
sir, introduce yourself.
Nobody's
I'm
clapping.
so, yes, please, let's clap. Can you all clap in the comment section? Like, please, let's just clap for Mr. Kingsley. We are happy to have you here. Can you introduce
Thank
yourself?
you.
A lot of people want
I think you should go
me
first.
to.
You can introduce yourself.
Okay, I already said my name, but okay, let me do another introduction, or like, let me go deeper
Okay.
a bit, right? I am Olaronke Moses, like I said, and I am the director of services at Leader Sport Company. So, yes, that's about me for short. So, Mr.
Okay.
Kingsley, let's hear from
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much, Olaronke. Good evening, everyone. Good evening again. My name is Kingsley Chukuma, as Olaronke has said, and I'm the president of Leaders Sports Company. I'm a student, a final year student as well at the University of Ibadan studying sociology. And then I'm interested in leadership. If you followed me for a while, you know I'm very much interested in leadership, particularly as it concerns the continent of Africa. I'm very particular about sustainable development of the continent. And yes, I'm an author as well. I have 9 books. I've written 9 books. And
Please, let's
but
just give it. Let the applause roll in, please. 9 books, it's not easy at all writing books.
Olaro didn't introduce herself fully, but no problem. No problem. That's all you call me.
But it's fine. Like I'm very like I'm happy, and I'm like, sometimes when I think about the books you've written and the fact that you are even writing many more, I'm like, wait, what's happening? What's this? How come you write so much? You write so well. But I think it has to do with your passion, right? Is it your
Yes, and
passion?
it's how I express myself. I prefer
Mm,
writing to probably speaking. So I express myself
okay.
through words. So what I cannot say, I put them into writing. So that's how I just
Mm.
express myself. Yes.
Yourself. Oh wow. And then like 9 books and still counting. Like, oh my God, that's a lot. But that's fine. Okay, leaders, welcome to this session. We will be talking about a very interesting topic, and it is the triad of influence. How herd mentality, media, and leadership shapes our behavior. Like, this is something we really need to talk about in this time. It is so important, and I believe everyone's going to learn a thing or two, or even more from today's session. Just it's going to be an interactive session. If you have questions, if you have contributions or whatever it is, you can just drop it in the comments. Hopefully, we get to see it. And then when it's time for questions, we would answer the questions. But let's just interact in the comment section. Let's drop emojis, drop the fires, drop the waves and the loves to encourage us online. And then share the link with other people to join us, because this is very important. I feel everyone who is in the media space, who is even just, apart from being in the media space, who is concerned about contributing to the society, you should be a part of this. You should learn all of the things that we'll be talking about today. So we're starting right off, and I'll be asking Mr. Kingsley some questions regarding the triad of influence and how herd mentality, media, and leadership shape our behavior. So let's talk about this. Like, when I remember when I was talking with you, and I was like, when I saw this topic, I was like, wow, this is something, this is deep. Like, it's a lot, and I feel like you said it's something we need to talk about in this time, right? So the first question I'll ask you is, what inspired the focus of the triad of influence? Why do you think it's important to examine how herd mentality, media, and leadership shape our behavior?
All right. Thank you very much, Olarunke. Thank you very much. I think I will begin by defining those concepts: the triad of influence, herd mentality, leadership, as well as the media. Firstly, we talk about the triad of influence. What it simply means is that those factors that's shaping how people behave, those factors that shaping how people think, how people make decisions. They are social factors, they are economic factors, and they are political factors. So those three factors that shaping how people behave are called the triad of influence. Recently I made a decision, and it was like a herd mentality. I started asking myself, what prompted, after I made the decision, after I took action from that decision, I started asking myself some sincere questions. I asked myself, what prompted this action? Would I have behaved differently if it was in a different scenario, something different had happened? My reaction have been different? And I believe it's not just me, and so many of us have been in those kind of situations where we make decisions, we take steps based on our decisions, and we start asking ourselves, why did I behave this way? Should I have behaved differently? So that's what the triad of influence is all about. Those things that prompt you to behave how you behave. I mentioned the social factors, the economic factors, and the political factors. They are very, very key in understanding the triad of influence. Now, when we talk about herd mentality, it's simple. Now, herd mentality is okay. Sorry, I forgot to mention that the triad of influence is a sociological and psychological concept. If you were studying sociology, if you were studying psychology, you might come across it. I'm in my final year, but I've never come across it. So it's about personal research that I stumbled on the triad of influence. So it's in that field. Now, when we talk about herd mentality, herd is like a group of animals. A group of animals is called a herd. So when we talk about herd mentality as it relates to humans, it's also called mob mentality. It's also called group think. Group think is also a psychological concept. It's how people in a group think, how people in a group behave, how people in a group perform things. For example, you see an ethnic group in Nigeria, for instance, and you see this behavior characteristic of them. Let me use the Yorubas as an example. When you see a Yoruba man, you know, okay, this person is Yoruba, maybe by the language they speak, maybe by the way they dress, maybe by the way they interact as well, the way they interact. It's different from someone who is an Igbo person, different from someone who is Hausa, different from someone who is Efik, different from the TV people. So that is what we call that that group think. The group think there now is how these people behave that is characteristic of that group. How do they behave that is characteristic of this group? That if I not tell you I'm an Igbo guy now and I'm behaving in a particular way, you would say this guy is an Igbo guy. Yes. So that is how herd mentality works. And like I said, it's a definition that came from a group of animals. a group of animals is called a herd. Then I would also use using the example of the buffaloes. I also explain herd mentality. Now the
Okay.
buffaloes are very unique animals. From what I researched on, they have, you've seen a picture of a buffalo. They have their eyes at the top of their head, like looking like this, and
Yes.
their head is always close to the ground. So
Mm-hmm.
it means they walk like they walk in a blind way, so to speak. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what this group of buffaloes do is that they stick to each other. They stick to one another. What this um, does to them is that it creates a sense of protection. So you do
Okay.
not see, you do not see one buffalo going his own way. You do not see another buffalo going its own way. They go together because it creates that sense of protection. Now, a way that hunters used to hunt buffalo is that they trap one of these buffaloes, and by trapping one of these buffaloes, the sound of that trapped buffalo attracts other buffaloes to the hunter's nest, so to speak. So if
Mm.
the hunters have caught one buffalo, the sound of that buffalo automatically attracts other buffaloes. They do not want
Yeah.
to know if the other buffalo screaming is hot or something.
Yeah.
They just follow each other. They just follow themselves,
Mm.
and that way,
Mm.
hunters are able to capture more buffaloes. It's the same thing with the
Wow.
herd mentality. We follow a particular pattern. We follow a particular route. Sometimes
Mm.
most of the time, we do not know where we are headed, but we're just going. So that is what the herd mentality means. Now,
Mm.
for the media, media is a form of communication.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm answering your first question.
Yes.
Now, media is a
Yes.
form of the media is a form of communication, and we have two types of media. We have the traditional media, and we have
Mm-hmm.
the new media. Now, the
Okay.
traditional media are those forms of media that were used in the olden days before everything became more digitalized. We have the newspaper, we have the town criers, we have the radio. Those
Mm-hmm.
are forms of traditional media. Now, the new media includes our social media handles. The new
Mm.
media includes everything that is just digital now. Those are what you can classify as a new media. Remember that when we were using newspaper, information was passed across, communication occurred, but it was not as fast as it is in this new
Not
media.
at all.
I
Not
mean,
at all.
uh, when
Those times they
I
used to
think
send letters now.
yes,
They send
yes,
letters and it can take like weeks before it gets to the other person.
exactly,
So
exactly,
imagine.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
I was trying to remember when I was much younger. I do not
Yeah.
think anything like social media existed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think. I think before social media really explored as Gen, was it Gen Zs? We're not even Gen Zs at that time. Was to go. We used to
I
go.
know.
Yeah.
I know you're going
That's,
to mention to go. It was very, very common among the
yes.
teenagers back then. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that's one example of new media. We explored that
Mm.
new media. Well, we were not used to newspapers, but in those days, that was what was prevalent as a form of communication. I
Mm.
want to communicate with you there where you are. I would have to send letters to the post office, and if it take days for that letter to
Yes.
be sent to you, but now in
Mm-hmm.
the comfort of your room, in the comfort of anywhere you are, as I'm in this session now, I can send messages across the world. That's the
Yeah.
power of new media. And
Yeah.
with this opportunity of new media comes also the disadvantages. Now
True.
that messages can be passed swiftly, now that messages can be passed easily without
Mm.
the stress of the traditional media, it creates more room for false information to spread
Very,
that can
very correct.
influence that can influence our behavior. Do you understand?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
new media now has created that platform for wrong propaganda, wrong information, misinformation. You see people just tweeting what they don't know about, herd mentality, everything
Just full.
just interlinked. You understand?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's it for the media. Then we talk about leadership. Leadership to
Yep.
me is simply influence.
Mm.
Leadership is influence. Leadership is influence,
Okay.
and we know there are different styles of leadership. We have the autocratic leader. We have autocratic leadership. We have situational
Mm.
leadership. We have transformational leadership. We have transactional leadership. We have the charismatic leadership. We have the authoritarian leadership. So there are different forms of styles of leadership. But leadership, just bear at the back of your mind that leadership simply is influence. How people influence, how a person influences other people, how you influence other people to take a particular route, uh, make a particular decision. That is simply leadership. Now, why are we discussing this subject today? It becomes critical to discuss the subject of the triad of influence in
Yeah.
this particular time. In this particular time, I would say the triad of influence, like I mentioned to you, Olarunke, is
Yes.
actually a book. It's actually a book I'm hoping to release very soon. It's
So
actually a book
yeah,
I'm almost.
sorry to cut you. You are validating what I said earlier on about you writing books and more to come. Okay, that's fine. That's good.
Like I said, that's how I express myself.
It's
So
good.
it's a book I'm going to be releasing on my birthday by God's grace. That's next
Okay.
month, and
Okay.
it becomes very very important to talk about this triad of influence because so many people do not know what it's about. We make decisions, we take actions, and we do not know what prompts these actions. We are just like
Mm.
that herd of buffalo, just going towards a sound. We do not know what is at the end of that sound. We do not know what we are going towards. We just follow others because we see that they are moving. We move with them. We
Mm.
the media that is supposed to be a good form of communication, we now misuse the
Yeah.
media. We misuse the
Mm.
media daily. We misuse the media daily. And then leadership is also very, very critical. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So
Yeah.
leadership is very, very critical as well. How leaders, we are going to learn how leaders also influence behavior.
Mm.
So that is why I thought about this subject of the triad of influence and necessitated that it needs to be said now. It needs to be said now. So I'm very certain that everyone on this call and everyone who would watch this video after now will learn a thing or two on what the triad of influence is, and also not just learn from it, um, understand how it also helps you to shape your behavior. Understand how it
Mm.
helps you to make your decisions. Yes.
Exactly. I love that. I love that all of these things are coming together to help us understand how we make decisions. Because if we don't track that, we end up becoming something else. Like you are imagining yourself to become a certain person, but you are not tracking your decisions. You are not tracking the actions you are taking. Meanwhile, there are so many things that are influencing that decision, influencing the
Definitely.
behavior. But if you
Yeah.
can track it and then like find why is this happening and then like make a headway, it's better that way. Like you come out on the other side positively. So now let's talk about I like how you defined it. It's clearer now, right? It's not just one big grammar there. Can you provide examples on how herd mentality influences our behavior? Giving examples about the buffalo and with what you've said, how does it influence human behaviors generally? And like, what are the potential risks or benefits of following the crowd? And I wanted to talk about it in a way that you address that part of the fear of missing out because it's a big thing, especially on social media. A lot of things are happening, and even the strongest of us, we still feel like, "Ah, okay, I should be a part of this, or how can I?" Like, there's just that feeling, that fear
Yeah.
of missing out, and wanting to follow the crowd. How can we talk? Let's talk about that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
Like I said, I think I touched part of this in the first question you asked. Now,
Mm.
head mentality is very, very powerful. Let's say the truth, it's very, very powerful. And
Mm.
as much as we have more negative outcomes from the head mentality, we also have
Yeah,
positive outcomes. But the negatives usually outweigh the positive. You
I
understand?
agree.
And
Yeah.
I also use the word groupthink. Groupthink is also
Mm.
very, very, very important. Every human wants to feel among. Every human wants to feel that they are part of
Yeah.
something. Yes, that
Of
they are part
course.
of a group, that they are part of a group, that they are part of a movement. For example,
Yeah.
look at Nigeria now. I know most of us
Mm-hmm.
on this call are Nigerians. We are in a very, very critical political season. I mean, the most heightened political awareness is now. I've never
Very
seen it
correct.
before. I've never
Very,
seen it.
very
It was
correct.
not like this 2015. It was not like this in 2019. But in
Mm.
2023, almost 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 everybody
Everybody.
talking about politics. You understand?
Yes.
I'm an
And the level
advocate
of
for,
awareness
yes,
is
yes,
just so
yes,
high.
yes.
So high.
I'm an advocate of good governance, and it's something that I've been pushing. People do not seem to want to listen, but now people are willingly demanding good governance.
Yeah.
You understand? And
Yeah. Yes.
if you are following the news, you would see how the whole thing is playing out. You understand?
Mm.
Now, everyone wants to be part. I said everyone wants to be part of the movement. Everyone wants to be
Yeah.
part of the obedient movement. Everyone wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to be part of the BATS movement. Some people want to be
Yes.
part of the article movement. You understand?
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
wants to feel among. In so much that if, as an obedient, for example, I see another obedient, it means
Yeah. One.
we are one.
Oh,
We
yes.
we align with the same interests. We align with the same
Mm.
values. We align with the same values. Very, very
Mm-hmm.
important for herd mentality, because unlike the buffaloes, humans
Mm.
are thinking beings. That is
Mm.
what makes us
Mm.
different from animals. Humans
Mm.
are thinking beings. So unlike the buffaloes, we can think, we can analyze, we can think critically, we can make decisions based on established thoughts. So
Mm.
when I see a fellow obedient, for example, I say, okay, this one is my brother, this one is my sister, as the case may be. If I'm supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I will see another bad support. I will say, okay, this one is my brother, this one is
Yeah.
my sister. If I see the same thing with other political candidates, now
Yeah.
why herd mentality is dangerous, and why we need to be very, very wary of herd mentality and learn to be critical thinkers as humans that we are, is that
Mm.
once we see this person as being a part of our group, we do not want to
Mm.
see any faults. We automatically blind our eyes to whatever faults that person is committing.
Mm. That's powerful.
I want to see the comment. The comment is not, it's not as lively as I want it to be. I want to know I'm communicating.
Yes, please. Let's
So,
let's let's talk in the comment section, please.
yes, yes. So as I was saying, we want to we automatically shut our eyes to some of the wrongs these people are doing. So if someone that is an obedient supporter tweets something that is even to the blind, if I read that tweet to the blind,
Okay.
wow, why did someone tweet this false information?
Mm.
But as an obedient supporter, I'm biased. We're always biased to people of our group. We're always biased. Until we begin to
Mm.
start thinking critically, we'll be biased to people of our group. It's not just in
Mm.
politics. It also happens in social settings. It happens in economic settings. It
Mm.
happens. I use the ethnic group as an example. It can also happen in
Yeah,
religious
of
settings.
course.
I'm a Christian, for example. I'm a Christian. I want to associate with Christians. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be in a Christian community. I want to be in Christian circles. If it's not
Mm.
my group, if it's not my group, I might not be there. I might not really contribute. It's
Yeah.
like a clan. It's like a clan. CLAN. It's like a clan
Mm-hmm.
thing. So if these people are making mistakes, I might not correct them as I would correct others that are not part of my group. That is the head
Mm.
mentality, and it can be very, very dangerous. And this is why one of the critical things we must take home from this lecture today is that we must learn to be independent thinkers. I would keep emphasizing that, and it's what I kept emphasizing in my book. We must learn to
Mm.
be independent thinkers. We must learn to be independent thinkers. We must learn as young people, because we have more young people on this call. We must learn as young people to be independent thinkers. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think I answered your question already. Let me know if
You
I did.
have, you have shared the potential risk, which is that part of closing our eyes to the bad side,
Yeah.
which is as a result of being biased, and it's a thing of humans. But and you've also preferred a solution, which is being independent thinkers. And I feel beyond, can we touch on that? Like, you know, this because somebody's saying here that yes, the bias is the problem. It's true. It's a normal thing for humans. But when we now want to talk about being independent thinkers, right? How is that achievable? And with that, like, being independent thinkers without losing focus on the goal. Because you can now say you want to be independent, and then the goal of the clan, so to speak, or the goal of the being together, you are not, it's not in focus anymore because you are now being an independent thinker. So can we talk about that part?
I love that question very, very, very much.
Yeah.
Those that have been following me for a while now, we know that I'm someone who usually says sometimes it's amazing, it's great, it's good to follow the crowd, but sometimes it's good to stand alone. There are situations where you can follow the crowd. If I'm in a house with different people and the house is burning, my brother, that part, I will
You
just
don't need to
I
start.
will run.
No, you don't need to do a research to find out. Please just run first.
If
No need for
if you're not
research.
in Nigeria, that part means run. That part means run.
Mm.
So I would
Yeah.
run. In that instance, I will follow the crowd. I do not want to die. I do not want to die. I do not want to
At
be an
least come
independent
out
thinker.
first. At least come out first and find out
Yes,
what is going on, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I do not want to be an
Yeah.
independent thinker in that regard. But then there are
Mm.
situations that necessitate me being an independent thinker. For example,
Mm.
personally, I'm in different groups. I'm in different social groups. I'm in
Okay.
different social groups. Because every one of us, regardless of whether we know it or not, we are in different social groups. We are in different,
Mm.
by virtue of birth, if you were born into an ethnic group, by virtue of association, you associate yourself with a religion. Now,
Yeah.
when I became of age, I started to ask myself some critical questions. Why am I not a Muslim? Why am I not an Hinduist?
Mm.
Why am I not practicing Judaism? Why am I not even a
Mm.
traditional believer? Why am I a Christian? And now when I established the fact that okay, when I began to think critically, when I began to think independently, that okay, this is why I'm not here. This is why maybe I was born here, but I would love to remain a Christian. Okay, now I'm a
Mm.
Christian. You know, inside that Christianity too, there are other social groups. We have different
Yes.
churches. We have the
Yes.
charismatics, we have the Catholics, we have the we have the Lutherans, we have the
Yeah.
Pentecostals. Why am
Pentecostals.
I not?
Yeah.
Like I asked myself, why am I not in Catholic? Why am I not in why am I in Pentecostal list? Why am I if there's a word like that, Pentecostal list? Why am I not
Yeah.
in this other place? That is how to
Yeah.
be an independent thinker. Now, even in
Mm.
that Pentecostal place, there are
Yeah.
other factions as well. Why am I not
Mm.
in? Why am I not in Redeem? Why am I not in this other church? Why am I not in this other church? Why am I in this place? At that time, when I
Mm.
began to think critically, I found out that even the social, religious environment I found myself was not good for me. I had to leave. I did not just
Mm.
leave. I, I removed my family members from that same social, religious space. You understand? Being a
Mm.
critical thinker, being an independent thinker. Independent thinking means you are a critical thinker. I think I will touch on that more later. You are a
Mm.
critical thinker. You do
Mm.
not just because everybody is going this way,
Mm.
you just go with them.
Mm.
Because everybody is doing this thing. Everybody is using iPhone now. I just wake up because everybody. I think iPhone 14 is the latest one now. Everybody is using
Okay.
iPhone 14. That's not viral 14. This is my iPhone. This is my
Oh
iPhone
my
7. This is my iPhone 7. So I think of things that say, okay, if you are using an iPhone with that see as a button, it
Mhm.
means you are a king. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I'm a king. You
oh my
understand?
God.
You have to be
Yeah.
an independent thinker. The fact that everyone is doing something does not mean you should do it. And
Mm.
mind you, too, mind you, remember I said it, there are sometimes that it's good to follow the crowd.
Yeah.
You must be able you must be able as an independent thinker to know those times that necessitates following the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I agree.
the digital age now. Everything is getting advanced. As a
Yeah.
university student, I expect you to have a phone, at least a phone that browses. So if you're telling
Yeah.
me that you want to remain in the traditional media era, I would say you're not serious because
Yes.
this is an opportunity for you to follow that crowd. This is an opportunity for
Yeah.
you to display that head
Yeah.
mentality. You
I
understand?
love that distinction.
Yes.
I love it.
So know when you should follow the crowd and know when you should also be alone, know when you should establish that independent thinking. I'll touch more on
We'll
critical
come
thinking
back.
later.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I feel we'll come back because there are so many things to pull out from there, based on what you're already saying. There are some light bulb moments coming for me. Now let's talk about how the media, the new media, influences our behavior, and what are some of the ways in which we can be more conscious of the messages we are consuming. Like this question is packed.
Okay.
How the media influences our behavior. Please, let's start from there.
Okay. Um, I'm someone that is very, very passionate about the media. I mean, only, only the other said if you're joking with your
Yeah,
life, as
joking
if
with your life.
yeah,
Honestly, the
you're
person is
joking.
joking. The
Yes,
person doesn't want to follow the crowd. But
yes, yes.
the person is something. Yeah.
So the media is very, very powerful. The media is very powerful, and I'm someone that is very passionate about the media. I from when I discovered my purpose, what I wanted to do, what I'm passionate about, I've consistently used the media to lend my voice to the cause I'm striving towards. The media
Mm.
is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And we've made this distinction between the traditional media. Now we have the new
And new
media.
media.
The
Yeah.
media is powerful in the sense that the media amplifies. The media
Mm. Mm.
amplifies.
Mm.
What I can just, for example, we are using Instagram Live now. If I
Yeah.
was to be hosting this if you're hosting this in a maybe physical space, we are going to spend money. We are going to spend a lot. It's going to be more stressful. But now I'm
Mm-hmm.
here in Ibadan. You're there where you are. Others
Yeah.
are there where they are, joining me from different parts of the world. The media
Mm-hmm.
amplifies. The media amplifies. So the media is very, very important, and it's very, very
Mm.
important to understand and to use the media properly. To
Mm-hmm.
use the media properly. On the media, that is where we see half truths and we see false truths.
So true.
We see things that are even not, that are pseudo truths, that look like
Made
truth
up
but
truth.
are not true. Yes. For example,
Forged.
there's this my neighbor.
Mm.
She's a digital immigrant. Digital immigrants
Okay.
are those people that were born in the time of the traditional media, but they were
Okay.
not used to the new media we are privy to. For example, Gen
Okay.
Zs, almost all Gen Zs are digital natives. It means
Yeah.
they were born in the time of new media. But for
Mm-hmm.
digital immigrants, they became aware of what new media is. That's when you see some. If you are making this call, for example, if maybe a digital immigrant is there, you would only see the top of their head. You will not see anything. You understand? They might even have
Yeah.
trouble connecting to the audio, the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this
Yeah.
woman, she's a digital immigrant, and almost every week she forwards a message to me. You know those messages you see on WhatsApp. I know some of
Forwarded
us,
many
some
times.
of us here might even be guilty, or our parents. They don't see one
Mm.
message, they just forward. You see forwarded by several people. Forwarded. So they don't see one
Yeah.
information without verifying, without confirming if it's true. They just forward to you.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, in their own mind now they'll be like, this thing will be useful to this person. So let me just forward. That is how powerful
Mm.
the media is in sending wrong messages. And
Mm.
there are some messages that are sent to me that I actually had to address. Like, okay, this is not how you should do it. This is not how to send messages. You don't just forward messages because people are forwarding messages. You
Mm.
verify messages before you send them. As a critical thinker,
Mm.
an independent thinker, which I've mentioned before, you do not just think like the mob.
Mm.
Remember,
Mm.
the mentality that I mentioned before is also called the
Yeah.
mob mentality. You do not think like the mob. You are an independent thinker, even if you're in a herd,
Mm-hmm.
you're an independent thinker. So even if everybody is doing the same thing, it doesn't mean you should do the same thing, especially as digital natives. Everyone on this call, everyone on this call is a digital native. I want to assume that you do not
Mm-hmm.
just behave as a digital immigrant. You do not use the media in the wrong way. Using the media in the wrong way can lead to so many catastrophic ends. It can create
True.
social unrest.
Mm.
Yes. So I think that's one way the media is very, very harmful. And the truth is
Yeah.
that if you use the media properly, there are
Mm.
numerous benefits, like I mentioned. There are numerous benefits. There are numerous
Yeah.
benefits of using the media.
Okay. Yes. Yes, you have. Talking about it being an amplifier.
Yes. I
Have.
think I
You
need
have.
to I think I need to mention something. Though I've been saying it softly, but then
Mm.
using the media, we need to
Yeah.
also learn what is called the concept called digital literacy.
Okay. Okay.
Digital literacy. You know, everything digital now. Everything is almost digital now, and we need to be digital literate. We need to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to use these things. We need to learn how to use these facilities. We need to learn how
Yeah.
to properly manage these facilities. The media is very, very powerful. The media is very, very powerful. The media can break and the media can make.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people that the media has made. I was sharing recently with some of my team members. I mean, this was
Mm-hmm.
just last 2 weeks that this LP guy, if you're in Nigeria, you would have heard the song. The LP guy,
Okay.
someone just posted him on Instagram. The guy opened an account, and in just 5 days, this brother had more than 150,000 followers.
Are
I've
you
been
kidding me?
I've been on
Wow.
Instagram for years. I just have 11,000 followers. This guy just came
Oh
in just
Lord.
a couple of hours, just a couple of days. This guy has 150,000 followers. The media
Wow.
amplifies. So the media
Wow.
can make and the media can break. The media
Mm.
can make and the media can break as well.
Mm.
So
Wow.
we have to learn digital literacy. We have to learn digital literacy. Seek out different perspectives. Before you share stuff, confirm it.
Mm.
Learn digital literacy. It's very, very important.
Wow. That's powerful. In fact, with what this example you just given, we we can even say I'm sure a lot of the people that are following him, it's based on that herd mentality we're talking about. Like,
Yes, yes.
oh, the LP guy, oh, obedient fellow, let's just go follow. They don't know him from Adam, they don't know him from anywhere, but they just follow. And
Yes,
like that's what we're talking about here. So there's a positive side and there's also the negative side. Okay,
yes.
let's talk about what role leaders play in shaping our behavior. You know, we're talking about the triad of influence. We have
Yeah.
the herd mentality, media, and leadership. So now let's talk about how leadership or the role leaders play in influencing
Okay.
our behavior and how we can hold them accountable for their actions and decisions.
All right. That's a very nice question. I defined leadership earlier as leadership simply is influence.
Yeah.
If you're sleeping, if someone wakes you up just and asks you what leadership is,
Mm.
leadership it has been there are several definitions that have been propounded by several theories, several people. But leadership is influence, and the
Yeah.
influence can be positive and influence can be negative. Influence
Of
can
course.
be positive, influence can be negative. So leadership
Yeah.
is influence. Someone can be influencing you positively, someone can be influencing you negatively.
Negatively.
Now, as a leader, the kind of leader we should listen to, the kind of leader we follow is also
Mm-hmm.
reflective of our value system.
Mm.
The kind
I
of
love
leader
that.
we follow, the kind of leader we listen to is reflective of our value system. If I'm someone that values integrity, if I'm someone that values honesty,
Mm.
there are leaders I follow. There are leaders that appeal to
Yeah.
me. If I'm someone that values, for example, fraud, there are people that that will be my mentors in that regard that I follow as leaders. It means they are the ones influencing me in that particular regard. You
Okay.
understand? So
Yeah.
the leaders we follow um, are reflective of our value system. Very, very important. So you can say, show me. I can tell you, show me your leader, and I will define for you what your value system is. It's that
Mm.
simple. It's that simple. You cannot be following somebody and you say this person is my leader. I'm learning from this person, and then your value system and that person's value system they are not aligned. Your value system
Mm.
is reflective of the kind of leaders you follow.
Follow.
So, and it's very, very important that we understand this, that what my values are pushes me to the kind of leadership I admire, the kind of
Mm.
leadership I follow. For example, I'm
Mm.
very, very passionate about good governance in Africa. I'm very, very passionate about transformational leadership on the continent. I'm very,
Leadership.
very
Mm.
particular about sustainable development on the continent of Africa. There are some leaders I
Mm.
follow. I follow Professor Patrick Lumumba. I follow Fela Drotoye. I follow I follow Linus Okori. I follow several. I follow Professor Swanika. I follow you see these leaders. If you go to their pages and they're on Instagram,
Mm.
if you go to their pages, you would see that from their posts. You know, our posts are reflective of who we are as well.
Of course, of course.
From their posts, you can deduce what their value system is. From
Enemies,
their
yeah.
digital posts, you can deduce what their value is. If I say I'm following
Mhm.
these people, it means my values are also aligned with theirs. Do you get it?
Mm.
So
Yes, yes.
we have to be mindful of the kind of leaders we follow. We have to be
Mm.
mindful of the kind of leaders we follow. If we are leaders ourselves, we have to be mindful of the kind of leaders we are. What are our values?
Mm.
Very, very important. Because
Right.
all this leadership influences behavior. You're not just influencing your own behavior. It's not just for you. It's for the people you are
Mm.
also leading. I have
Leading, true.
other people
Yep.
that are looking up to me as a leader. If my
Mm.
value system is negative, let me put it that way. If it's negative, the people that are currently looking up to me now might not be following me. It might be a different couple of people following me. So we have to define our value system. Do you
Mm.
understand? So
Yes, I do.
that's it for leadership. Define your value system simply. I
Okay.
think you asked
That
another question
yes,
as
yes,
as a reminder.
yes,
What is the other
yes.
question?
The other part of the question is how can you hold leaders accountable for their actions and decisions, particularly in a society like Nigeria? Because leaders, yes, I need to add that because the way
Yes.
leadership is in Nigeria, it looks like once you get that position, you are Lord. Nobody should ask you any question, and then you just start to direct people in whatever way you think. How can we hold leaders accountable for their actions and decisions, knowing that everything they get to do, it has direct influence on us? Like you said, everything rises and falls on leadership. So how can we? What that's our own role, holding them accountable. So how can we
I
do
think
that?
it's just Olaronke, I think it's just simple. We are currently experiencing it in Nigeria. These people
Mm-hmm.
are political leaders. We have political leaders. You know,
Mm.
we have, I mentioned the forms of leadership. We have those that are called positional leaders. Those are the
Yeah.
people that are occupying positional roles, like your president, your governor, your senators, your ministers. Those are
Yeah.
positional leaders. But then a
Yeah.
positional leader also can be a transformational leader.
Mm.
So if you're not a transformational leader, people can drag you on social media. That is why I said
Mm.
the media is powerful. The media is one way
Wow.
you can hold the leader accountable. And
Mm.
like it has been trending recently.
Okay.
They said, there's this not said anybody. There's this we drag you. There's this we drag you.
I know,
And I
right?
love that dragging. I love that dragging. I love the fact that people that are waking up to their leadership responsibility. People are waking up to the things their leader that their leader should do, that they need, that should be needful for them. People are waking
Mm.
up to those realizations. Before, people did not care. They did not care who governs them. So you just see people just election season is here. They just rig their way through. But now people are
Mm.
more particular about who governs them. People are more particular about their leadership. It's very, very interesting. And the media is, I, I said it before that all these things are interlinked, and I think I will discuss it later. All these things are
Okay.
interlinked.
Okay.
So, through the use of the media, you can hold your leaders accountable. If, for
Mm.
example, as a leader that myself, I lead several people, if I'm going against my value system, if I'm
Yeah.
going against the value system of those I lead, you can come on social media and drag me. Like I said
I'll
before,
call you out, right?
yeah, social media can make and social media can break. You know, social media is just part of the new media. There are other forms of new media.
Media, of
So
course, of
it
course.
can make and media can break. So you can put your leaders, yeah, for example now, if my president is not doing something right, I cannot
Mm.
from Ibadan here say I'm going to ask you to challenge my president. No, I can't do
Yeah.
that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But through the influence of the media, we can hold
Mm.
our leaders accountable. Look at what happened during NSAS. Through the media, just one morning, just one tweet, we saw how
Mm.
the whole Nigeria was revolutionized and SARS was ended in Nigeria. Just one tweet.
Mm.
We hold our leaders accountable. The youth
Okay.
demanded that okay, this is what they want and this is what they want to stand. And it stood. Today there is no SARS.
Mm.
Today,
Mm.
the police department is more aware of what they should be doing.
Doing,
they are not
yeah.
aware of consequences of wrong action.
Mm.
So the use of the media can be used to hold leaders accountable.
Mm. But then
Yeah.
I see something here, Mr.
Yeah.
Kinsley, because if the herd mentality comes to play here, right? When you want to hold leaders accountable for their actions and decisions, if we're going to be using the new media, because it sort of looks like if you are standing alone, your voice will not really be heard. That's how that's
I
what
think
is
I know
coming
that
to play
part.
in my mind
I
now.
know that part. When you're standing alone now, for example, if you say an independent thinker, someone is not supporting these particular things people are clamoring about on social media, they would attack you. That's the head mentality. They would attack
Mm-hmm.
you. The
Mm-hmm.
end that do not think, they do not think, they are not independent thinkers. They just see someone. Like
Yeah.
the example of the buffaloes I gave.
Yeah.
Buffaloes do not see they don't see where they are going, but they are
Yes.
just together. They are
Mm-hmm.
together. So that sense of kinship. They just
Mm.
follow the crowd. Just
Yeah.
let me follow the crowd.
Yeah.
So someone is standing independently. Someone is saying something that if you're a critical thinker, you would say, okay, this person is saying the right thing. And
Yes. Yes.
because people are not thinking independently, they just say, okay, this person is saying rubbish. They attack you. They attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, yesterday something happened. You know, I'm in the University of
Yeah.
Ibadan. I'm a faculty president here. And
Yeah.
there was a mistake on on the media platforms. One of our lecturers in the University of Ibadan won a $300,000 grant,
Okay.
and
Hey.
the lecturer's name is Said Aderito, Professor Said Aderito, and there's also a
Yeah.
Said there's also an Aderito, Professor Aderito in my department, sociology. So
Okay.
why the media displayed the correct name, they used a different picture. They used
Picture.
my professor's picture instead of the original person. So
Oh my God.
people are just congratulating my professor's my professor with his picture, and they did
You
not
didn't set
they were not aware that this is not the right picture. So Peter
it.
Obi, one of the presidential
I thought it
candidates,
was
posted that.
LinkedIn.
Yes, he posted that wrong picture, and I even
Oh.
had to message the admin of that account. And on Instagram, I saw someone's comment. She was a friend, like she's a friend to this original professor who won this grant.
Okay, right.
And she said, this that the professor is my friend and my lecturer. This is not in this picture, but that is his name. Under the comment, if you see comment,
Yeah.
Peter Obi has posted it. Who are you? Are you trying to say he doesn't know?
Oh my God.
Are you trying to
Wow.
are you trying to say he does not know the picture he posted? Are you trying to say he doesn't know the lecturer? How can Peter Obi know everybody in Nigeria? You understand? So
Wow.
that's the head mentality. Because someone is a critical thinker, someone knows what she's talking about. You just came, you don't know what you are talking about. You just saw that Peter Obi posted picture, and because the picture
Mm.
is fine, the man was wearing this gown. He just felt okay because he's wearing that gown. He's the professor. He's the main professor. You understand?
Oh.
That
Oh
is
my
the head
God.
mentality. That
Wow.
is the head mentality. When we do not have independent thinkers, that is the kind of thing that happens. And please, we must be very mindful. The fact that you are an independent thinker and people are against you does not mean you should not stand for what you believe in. Because the truth is
Mm.
that once that mob start attacking you, there's always the tendency to compromise your standard,
So
to
much.
compromise your value.
So
Yes,
much.
to compromise your values. And I didn't
Mm.
have this under leadership. I didn't have this under leadership. We
Okay.
might be following a leader that has these particular values that we admire, and
Mm.
one day the leader just does something wrong. We must question that. We must question that wrong.
Mm.
Do we understand the fact that someone has been doing something that is normal and he does something that is I'm not saying questioning because this generation has a way of questioning wrong that is very
Like
very
very
wrong.
wrong
They are making
questioning,
more
yes.
wrong.
Just
So
drag.
we question wrongs in intelligent way. In an intelligent way.
Mm.
It might be an omission. No one is perfect. It might be an
Of course.
omission. So the
Mm.
fact that your leader is saying, I've followed one leader, for example, that did something very, very wrong during the entire stage. I had to
Mm.
I had to critically think about what he did. I had to and he was doing it repeatedly at that period. He was doing it repeatedly. He was doing it repeatedly. I was like, first of all, I defined why I was following him. I defined my own value system. I defined his own value system. Is it that it's when I followed him, his value system was looking like my own. Now it's looking like it's something else. So what do
Else.
I need to do? What do I need to do? So I discovered that I needed to stay away from him for a while because people see, um, if you're if you're close to someone that has the flu, you're also going to get the flu. If you're too close to someone that has the wrong value system, very soon your own value system will also be corrupted to
Unfortunately.
reflect that of
Yeah.
that person. So we have to be
Yes.
mindful of this. If your
Wow.
leader does something, there's a right way to caution them, there's a right way to call them to order. You understand? Not doing it the wrong way. I know we are very, very used to doing things the wrong way. Yes.
Mm. Awesome. There's a question here. I don't know. Do we answer it
Okay.
now? I do.
Um,
I think.
I think it's
Can
just
we?
can you note the question?
Can I what?
Can you note the question?
Okay. Or can you pin it?
Okay,
Let me.
why is the question? Because I'm seeing the time, I think Instagram live gives just 1 hour. So we
Yeah.
just rejoin once it ends, we just rejoin.
Join. Okay. So should I ask
Okay.
the question
Let
or
me
should I bring it out?
let me answer the question,
Okay.
then we go up and rejoin
Okay. Okay.
the other
Okay. So
questions.
Emmanuel saying that he agrees that leadership is influence, but will you still consider negative influence as leadership? You know, you talked about
Leadership,
leadership.
that's why I said there are different styles of leadership. Negative
Leadership.
influence is something part of leadership. For me, negative influence is also leadership. Leadership is someone leading you. If someone is leading you as he's still leading you. You understand? That's why we talk about the
Yeah.
different styles of leadership. We talk about
Yeah.
those that are authoritarian leadership. We talk about those that are transformational leaders. That's
Mm-hmm.
the we have those that are we have those that we have defined as positive. We have those that
Mm.
are defined as negative. Depends
Negative.
on your own value system. So if someone
Okay.
is influencing you negatively, it's still leading you, but not positively. It's influencing
Mm.
you in the wrong way. Someone is
Okay.
influencing you to steal. All these social vices, someone is influencing you towards them to
Mm.
steal, to drunk
Mm.
drive, social
Mm.
vices. Someone is influencing you towards the wrong direction that is against your value.
Yeah.
Because even we want to talk about social vices, the concept of functionalism still comes in. I don't want to delve into that. It's a
Mm-hmm.
sociological concept. You understand? Something like
All
you say,
right.
okay, my friend is a prostitute, and I also want to join her in being a prostitute. It's a social vice, but then it's performing a function in the society. If they are
Mm.
prostitutes, there will be a lot of rape. There will be more rape than we are seeing now. So
Mm.
that's another ball game on
And
its own.
that
But the
angle.
point is that
Great.
the point is that there's negative influence and there's positive influence, and both are leadership. It just depends on
Leadership.
the leadership style.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should we still continue with the question? We have
Yes,
just
yes,
eight
we
minutes.
can continue until we can continue till it just ends.
Okay. I
Everyone,
hope you all are studying something. What did you say?
if the call ends, everyone can just rejoin. We start
Rejoin. Okay. Great.
live immediately.
Great. Great. That's fine. Okay. So you've been talking about how that these things, the all of the things we've been mentioned, the herd mentality, media, and then leadership, they are intertwined. Like, let's talk
Yes.
about different um the different ways these factors they interact with one another. How do they?
Okay.
How does it happen? Yeah, and it's in relation to how it shapes our behavior as individuals and as the
Okay.
society. Yeah.
Okay. I think I would begin by giving two examples of this question is about how they are intertwined, right?
Yes. Yes. How they
Okay.
interact.
I'll begin by giving examples. I'll give the Adolf Hitler example. I'll also give the Martin Luther King example. Now, if you don't know who if you don't know who Adolf Hitler is, he was the one that through him the Second World War started. Adolf Hitler was said to be a very, very smart man. Sorry,
Mm,
excuse me.
okay.
I just want to take water.
All right. It's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about
All
that.
right. It's
So,
fine. It's fine.
Adolf Hitler was said to be one of the most brilliant people from one of his accounts that I read. One of the most
Yeah.
brilliant people at that time. and he was there during his backstory before he became the Adolf Hitler that we know now is that
Yeah.
he was a very, very creative person. He was a very creative person. And in World War One, there was a picture I
Yeah.
saw that highlighted Adolf Hitler in the crowd of people demanding for war. He was in that crowd. So the backstory is that this is a man that loved war. He does not want peace, basically. So that's his backstory. Yes,
Wow.
that's his backstory. He was a brilliant guy, very, very brilliant. He was very creative. He was very, very creative. He was a very charismatic person. Was a very charismatic person. So what Hitler did was to combine the triad of influence. He combined he combined herd
Wow.
mentality. He combined the media. He combined leadership. He created
Mm.
The Second World War, which led to the
Wow.
death of more than 70 million people. More than 70 million
Wow.
people died as a result of the Second World War. Until today,
Wow.
people are still suffering the aftermath of that
Uh,
war. 70
wow.
million. I mean,
That's a
there are some
lot.
countries in Africa, yes, there are some countries
Yeah.
in Africa that even two or three countries are not up to 70 million. So
Mm.
you can imagine that big effect of one man's influence.
Mm.
Now, at that time, there was no new media as we have it now. There was new media, but it was just because this was in the 19th century. It was towards the end of, I
Mm.
think, towards the end of the 19th century, if I'm correct. No, towards the end, no, the beginning of the 19th century, and he used the traditional media. He used the newspapers. He used the cinemas.
Wow.
He was using those to influence people. Adolf Hitler is someone you call the demagogue. You call the demagogue. A demagogue is simply a person that can influence people through emotions. He can just come here today. I can just come here
Oh.
today and just stand there and appeal to your emotion and say something and craft words in a way that appeals to your emotion. Remember, I said
Wow.
he was a very creative person. So sometimes he will
Mm.
just come up on stage and start crying and make you believe that these people are your enemies.
Wow.
Make you believe that the Jews are your enemies. Make you believe that other races are your enemies. You
Wow.
understand? So Hitler
Yeah.
was that kind of man. He was a demagogue. He appealed to the emotions of people, and because
Mm.
people were looking for relief because of the devastating effects of World War One. They were looking for a leader to lead them. They were looking for the advancement of their country, Germany.
Mm.
They were not
Mm.
critical thinkers. They were not
Wow.
independent thinkers. They saw,
Wow.
they saw, they saw Hitler as that savior. They saw
Mm.
Hitler as that one leader that can propel the country to greater heights. You
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
So
The dreamland.
Yes,
Mm.
Hitler is a very smart guy. He maximized all this, maximized their mob mentality, maximized new media the traditional media. On the traditional
Entertain.
media platform, he would propagate false information, false stories, and people would
Wow.
buy into them. He would paint. He can paint black as white. You understand? The media, like I said, media is
Yes.
very dangerous. Media is very, very dangerous. They can make us see what is unreal as real. When
Of course.
when you keep seeing something, for example, you keep seeing something every time.
Mm.
For instance,
Yeah.
when every time I open YouTube, I'm always seeing all these loan apps. I'm always seeing all these loan apps. Every time. So once they keep sending it, somebody start
Mm.
telling you, should I go and learn
Maybe
from
it's
them?
normal.
Yeah, you do that.
I
Maybe I
don't
can
think
learn from them. You understand? So the
Yeah.
media has that power to project something that is false as right. Once they keep
Mm.
doing it repeatedly, it's
Yeah.
it's registers in your subconscious as right. So you want to think it is right. You understand?
Mm.
That is why
Yeah.
being an independent thinker. I said I will mention it every every time on this
Wow.
call. Being an
Yeah.
independent thinker is very, very important. So Hitler thought that this was absent. Being an
Mm.
independent thinker was absent, so he maximized this. And those who were independent thinkers in his own time, he used the media to silence them because
Again, because of his
definitely,
influence.
yeah, because of his own agenda. Definitely
Wow.
in every area, because like I said, as humans, we are not like the buffalo. We are thinking beings. In every head, we can at least we'll find one person that thinks critically. We'll find one person that even if everybody is going this way, if situation warrants that it does not go that way, he would object to going that way. So we always have those kind of people in every social situations. So there were those kind of people who are doing it last time, but we used the media to silence them. So we had a situation where we had more people following Hitler wrongly. You understand?
Wow.
And standing independently. You understand? So that was what led to World War II. It was as a demagogue, he was able to influence them negatively.
Wow.
So you have seen the interplay. You have seen the interplay of how a leader can influence people negatively now.
Yeah.
Because he was charismatic. People believed in him. People believed in the ideas he shared. People believe in his value system. He was able to influence them negatively, and that was how Germany invaded Poland. That was the beginning of the war. He started invading, killed people. The war just spread out like that because of one person's influence. That is one. That is how these three triad of influence interlink. The end of
Head mentality, media,
head
and leadership.
mentality, the media, and leadership. Now, looking at another example, this is the first example. The second example is Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was also born during the time Hitler was alive. And some historians say one of the things that prompted Martin Luther King's activism is the aftermath of the war. I think the war was also still on in the time of Martin Luther King. We were just yeah, the war lasted for several years. Lasted for several years. Yes,
I feel
lasted
like I
for
need to
several
go
years.
and do deep research on this because there's a lot.
Everyone should read on it. Yes. The war lasted for several years. It was not a war you just fight one day. That's the Second World War. It lasted for several years. So Martin Luther King was born that period, and according to some historians, that is what prompted his own message of peace. If you follow Martin Luther King, he preaches peace. He preaches the fact that we should not discriminate races. You understand? In contrast to Hitler's message was anyone that is black is not us. Anyone that is white is not us. We are one people. We are like superior. He preaches the message of superior races. He preaches the message of a superior race. You understand?
Wow.
So, for example, I'm Igbo now. I'm superior to other tribes in Nigeria. You understand? So those were the contrasting messages. While Hitler preached on superiority of races, Luther preached on sameness of races. Like there was no need to discriminate. There was no need to discriminate against races. Everybody was one, and he preached the message of peace. Now we saw that through his own influence of leadership, several people bought into the vision. Millions of people, even till date, people are still living that dream of Martin Luther King. Even as heirs, we saw how people followed Martin Luther King, even till today. I'm also a follower of Martin Luther King, so you can see I'm in that line too. You understand? I'm an independent thinker, but I'm also an heir in following the path of Martin Luther King, not Adolf Hitler. You have those that are following Adolf Hitler. I'm following Martin Luther King. You understand?
Yeah.
And he also used because when King started his advocacy, he used that was the period of the new media. The new media was also gaining traction then. So he used the new media to propagate this message. I mean, today we have accounts of the I have a dream speech. You can go to YouTube to watch it. We have that account. I'm not sure I've seen a video where Adolf Hitler came out like a video of Adolf Hitler speaking. You understand? We only had pictures, but then I'm not sure I've seen a video. But for Martin Luther King, we had videos. So that's how these three factors interplay in creating negative and positive, in influencing negative and positive behavior.
As individuals.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Giving the two examples just even helps us to see it better because, like, you can say something is negative, but not really know how it comes to play with all of these factors. But now it's clearer.
Yes,
Everyone on the
yes.
call, I hope you are getting value. Please comment, drop comments, let us know, drop the fires, drop the loves and everything. We are almost rounding up. Oh, are we? Okay, we're still live. So I think we can still continue,
Yes,
right?
we can continue. I think perhaps they extended the time. I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
Mm.
So, can we talk about any recent events or trends that illustrate the power of the triad of influence? I know you've talked about Adolf Hitler and then Martin Luther King, and that was like in the days back then. Can we talk about recent events that portrays this triad of influence we've been talking about?
All right, thank you very much. I think I mentioned it before. The most recent event that comes to mind is the political scene in Nigeria. Political
Okay,
scene,
okay, yeah, yeah.
um, because it's very, very important. You remember when I was defining the triad of influence, I mentioned the economic factors. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mentioned the social
Social factors.
factors. I mentioned the
Yeah.
political factors
Political
as well.
factors.
So the
Yeah.
political factors are very, very important, and that's the time we are in now,
Yeah.
where the head is just following a particular group, the other
Mm.
head is following this particular group, the other
Mm.
head is following this particular group, and
Yeah.
they amplify their messages through
Media.
new media.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the most recent example. And it
Okay.
still boils down to what we've been saying on the call, how to
Mm.
be independent thinkers, even while following these people that we consider to be our leaders. And don't forget
Mm.
that the kind of leader you follow, determines your own value system. You cannot
System
see
as
your
a
value
person
system A and you're following leader B. It does not work that way. Show me your
at
leader and I
all.
will show you the kind of values you have.
Get that.
Yeah.
That's nice. So, what are the let's talk about how we can use the power of triad of influence
Okay.
to create positive change in this sense. I know there's that part of okay, you can use media to talk, to drag people. That's like when we talked about holding our leaders accountable, right? But I feel like we still need to do justice to that because the way some people go about the dragging, it doesn't really speak well. They drag to fall, not drag to correct per se. So can you just share some examples or some tips on how we can use this triad of influence to create positive change in our environment and
Mm.
in the society generally?
All right. How we can use the triad of influence to create
Positive
positive change. Now,
change. Yeah.
everyone on this call now knows what the triad of influence
Mm,
is. Before now, we probably might have an idea or do not know at all what the triad of influence is.
yeah.
Now you know. Now begin
Yeah.
to propagate. Now begin to preach it. Begin to let
Mm-hmm.
people know that that the media, that the kind of leaders you follow, the leadership you follow, that
Mm,
head mentality affects and influences behavior. The more people know
mm.
about this thing, the more they'll be able to think for themselves. The more they'll
True.
be able to develop critical thinking skills for themselves. You understand? So
Yeah.
that's just simply the way. Just propagate the message rather.
Okay.
Propagate the
Yeah.
message. Let people know that, okay, these are the things that shape why you think this way. Do you get it?
Mm.
You don't need to argue with them when you're actually someone. You don't need to argue with them. Just so that they're also
They
they're
are
also the
also
mob.
being
They're also
influenced, right?
because the
Yeah.
mob always think in a particular way.
Mm.
Their A is in, they don't want to question it. They don't want to question it. And that is why we are different from animals. We should question. We should question assumptions.
Mm.
We question
Mm.
everything. That is why animals are in science they say animals are lower beings while we are the higher beings.
Things,
Anybody that
yeah.
does not question, it means anybody that does not question, anybody that cannot think critically is a lower being.
Mm.
Because that is what the only thing that differentiates us from animals is
The
that
fact that you
critical
can
thinking
think.
ability. The
Yeah.
fact that you can think. So when we have young people, we have old people that cannot think. It means
Mm.
it really means they're animals. No apology. It really means you are an animal. You cannot think, especially in this age we are in, where the world is going very, very fast at the global speed. You cannot think
Yeah.
for yourself.
Mm.
Cannot make
Mm.
decisions based on established thoughts. If you're not an
Yeah.
independent thinker, it means there's a problem. You are no different from an animal.
I know,
Yes.
right? Okay. Okay, let's talk about this. we're going to tie back to this because we're coming to the end of the questions. We're coming to the end of the questions, and like we're going to tie up
Okay.
everything as soon as possible. Please, if
Okay.
you have questions so far, light bulb moments, what you've learned, just please drop it in the comment section so that we can check it, read it out, and answer your questions if you have any. So I'm going to read this quote by Robert B. Cialdini, the author
Okay.
of The Psychology of Persuasion. I don't know if you've read
Okay.
that book. I have, and it's quite powerful. It said,
This
in
the
general,
psychology of what? What's the
persuasion,
title of the book? Okay. Okay.
persuasion, yes. It said, in general, when we are unsure of ourselves, when the situation is unclear or ambiguous, when uncertainty reigns, we are most likely to look and accept the actions of others as correct. Talking about being independent thinkers, I feel like there are a lot of people that when they are in a herd, in quotes, right? Because we belong to communities, it's part of the requirements we need as humans to thrive, being in a community. They know something is not going on right. They know things are not, this is not how it should be. And I want you to provide tips to that independent thinker that feels alone, that is unsure, that just knows that this shouldn't be, but because of where you are just still low key, right? Provide some tips on how that person can thrive and how that person can stand for the truth
All
amongst
right.
other people that do not believe the same thing. Because we have lots of leaders, and that's what leaders what is about, redefining leadership, because we know that there are a lot of things that are wrong in the fabrics of leadership in this society. So we have, I'm sure we have been grooming independent thinkers. But what are the tips you can offer to them that will help them
Okay.
to thrive as independent thinkers?
All right. Thank you very, very much. Um,
Yeah,
like I said, as answer to the other question, now
yeah.
you know what it means to be an independent thinker. Begin to teach it. You know what the triad
Mm,
of influence is. Begin to teach it. That's the first thing now. You know what it's
okay.
about. You know how herd mentality, you know how media, you know how leadership influence behavior. Begin to
Yeah.
teach it. So millions of people don't know about it. Millions of
Okay.
people understand. And
Yeah.
it also means that you yourself as an independent thinker, when you go on social media, it's not everything that you need to respond to.
Mm.
Also, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. But I also have another book coming up as well that
I will
that
talk.
talk about
Okay now.
the title is Digital Footprint. It's a very,
Mm.
very important book as well. It's even more, I mean, I poured more time into writing that book than even the Triad of Influence.
Okay.
People don't come online and they post stuff, people respond in a way that is not reflective of their values.
Mm.
You understand? And we know, like I've always said, the media makes or breaks. You understand?
Mm.
As an independent thinker, when
Yeah.
people say something on social media, it is not every comment you should respond to. It
Mm.
is not everything you should respond to.
I
Digitally,
agree.
there are footprints. The same way you work in the physical realm and you have footprints. In the digital realm as
Mm-hmm.
well,
You
there are
have
also
to
footprints. You
bring.
can
Mm.
delete that tweet today, but someone has made a screenshot,
Save
and there
it.
are even apps that can show that okay, this was the tweet that you deleted. For example, look at WhatsApp. There's GB WhatsApp. You can delete a message and someone is. Do you understand?
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
digital footprint. Be mindful of all these things. We have to be mindful of them.
Mm.
You are now an independent thinker. Teach these things to teach them.
Okay.
That's the first one. Second
Yeah.
one, encourage people to learn critical thinking skills. It's very, very
Mm.
sad. I'm very particular about this one. I actually I was so particular about it that I had to hold a webinar on it in 2020 because
Okay.
can you remember? Can you remember that webinar?
Okay.
I
I think I
I think
do.
it was only on critical thinking. How
I think
to,
I
I
do.
think how to think. Yeah, that was just how to think. How
Hmm.
to think because
Maybe we
I
would
know.
have to revisit that again, or like host a session on that, because we still need to teach people how to think in this time. Yeah.
Yes, how to think is very, very important. We need to learn how to think. We need to develop our critical thinking skills, particularly as young people. Someone tells you something, you do not just think, you just accept it because they tell you that it is true. That is not how it works. As a young person, question every assumption, question everything. I wrote down some questions that a critical thinker should always ask. A critical thinker that is in the edge should always ask. Ask the question, where is everyone heading towards? That is how to be a critical thinker. Where is everyone heading towards? I'm a critical thinker. Now, these are the questions I should ask. Where is everyone heading towards? Where is everyone in this group heading towards? Second question is, who is leading this herd? Who is leading this group? That is the leadership factor now. Who is leading this group? Or are we just leading ourselves blindly? Because leadership is very, very powerful. Leadership is very, very important. Leadership makes room for sustainability. In psychology, the concept of groupthink, when there is no leader, a vision is bound to die. The same way it started, the vision can spring up and gain traction, but it's always bound to die if there is no leader. Because leadership is very, very critical. Everything rises and falls on leadership, according to John Maxwell. So who is leading this head? The head that I mean, who is leading it? Leadership factor. What is his motive? Motive is very, very critical. As individual thinker, motive is very, very critical. What is my motive for being in this earth? The person living this earth, what is his own motive? As critical thinkers, it's important to ask that question. What are my values? Remember, I mentioned this during the leadership factor. What are my values? Your values will influence why you are in a particular group. Your value will influence why you are in a particular social in a particular social group. Where will this road lead to? This road we are headed towards. Remember for the buffalo, they didn't know where the road was heading to. They were just going blindly, following a voice, which was a trap. So you need to ask critical questions like, where is this road leading to? I'm following this crowd, but where is it leading to? What is the future outcome? That's this question. That is why I said, as humans, we are critical. We are thinking beings. We are not like animals. Ask these questions. The last question you should ask is following this earth going to create positive change? I'm all about positive change. Is this earth going to create positive change? Very, very important. Or is it just negative change? Your own might be negative change, and I'm not even sure you should be on this call. But if you're on this call, I'm encouraging you to that you should be mindful. You should focus on creating positive change. Look for a social cause. There are several social causes. Look for social cause. Follow the air that are following that social cause. You understand? Define the end from the beginning. Yes, that is how to teach critical thinking. Question biases. Remember how I said at the beginning of the call that I did something and I was asking myself, if it was a different situation, would I have reacted differently? Am I being biased towards this? You understand? So question biases. Use evidence to support arguments. A critical thinker does not just make arguments. You see some. There are very interesting people on social media. Conversation with them and they start an argument. An argument that is supposed to be engaging and educative. Personally, I don't enter any argument that is not educative. Once I'm arguing with you, it has to be educative. So you just interact with them and they don't have evidence. Why are you supporting this person? The person is good. You want society to be better. Is that all?
Honestly, that all.
What is your evidence? What is your evidence? That means you're not a critical thinker. What is your evidence? A critical thinker has evidence to support every argument. It's critical thinking. The next one for me is to promote digital literacy. And I've said that several on this call. Promote digital literacy, how people can use the media, the new media, how people can use the new media in a very, very effective way that would not lead to negative consequences. You understand? Another thing is to also let people know how they engage on on the media platform, or I'll put it this way, how they consume media, their media consumption. Media consumption is very, very important too. When I keep getting exposed to false news, to false stories, it will shape my own mindset, it will shape my behavior. You understand? So we must be critical of this thing. We must also teach it. So we need to encourage diversity in digital consumption, media consumption. Encourage diversity. Listen to this opinion. Listen to different perspectives. Listen to this person's opinion. Listen to this opinion. Listen to this opinion. Compare and contrast. That is how to be a critical thinker. And it's also very, very good that we teach it as well. I think
Awesome.
that's it for me. Yes.
I feel like these things you've shared, they are so powerful that if anyone sits with it, like the person will be transformed
You should get my
because
book.
you. That's the thing, right? They should just go. Once I'll just go get the book and you get the juice of all of the things we are talking about more in abundance.
8th of April is
On
going
the what?
to be out.
8th of April. Okay, yes, your birthday, 8th of April. So they should just go check out your book. At least this is a tip of the iceberg on what you're going to get from the book already. And this one already, these questions one should ask for to be able to be a critical thinker. I think it's just really profound, very, very profound. I want you to talk about media literacy, digital literacy for particularly Gen Zs. Because it's so quick to just post something and just say something.
Media literacy.
Yes.
Digital literacy is different.
I say something. Okay,
yes, I said
digital literacy is different.
They are different. They look alike, but they are different. Digital literacy is different from media literacy.
Okay. Can you shed more light on that and then give us on it?
Simply, digital literacy is basically how you use digital products. That's the simple definition. Media is part of digital products.
Okay,
digital products. You can say that the media is part of the digital product. So, but for the media, for media literacy, it's basically how to behave on media, how to behave on new media, which is inclusive of your social media. I will emphasize on social media because that is what we have access to the most for our generation.
Yes.
We have other sources of new media like your TV. We also have the radio. We have several other new media platforms.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that social media literacy. You know, you were talking about footprints. We have footprints on social media. Can you just give some steps on how, especially let's not talk about people generally. Let's talk about somebody who is interested in leadership, somebody who is interested in leading a community, leading people towards positive change in the society. How can that person harness the power of media and then keep their footprints clean?
Okay.
Because do you know what I'm saying? That it seems like it just looks like the media. Some people on the other part of media, they are so ready to drag you once you commit something. So something you posted 2010. All of a sudden they can go and look for it from I don't know where, and then use it to pull you down. So let's talk about that.
I was thinking in my mind, I said, you want me to expose everything I wrote in my book, but no problem. We are now joining digital footprints and the TRIAD of influence. They are all interlinked actually. Now, for someone who knows, that he wants to be something in future, let me use a colloquial language. You know, you want to be something in future. The way we used to say that I want to be something in future.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be something in future. You need to be very, very mindful of your digital footprint. Digital footprint that you are like your physical footprint. Wherever you go, there's a footprint physically. Wherever you step on, there's a footprint. People can know, okay, this person was here. People can know. It's the same way with it on the digital platform.
Yeah.
And digital platform, we need to be more critical of it. You understand? A lot of more people are using digital platforms now. So I think last time I checked, more than half of the world's population on social media. So that is very, very key.
Wow.
Imagine, imagine you're just someone posting rubbish on social media. It's like your
Yeah.
CV. Today, several organizations do not even ask, they don't even need to ask you for your details. They just go to
Yeah.
your social media platforms. It's the same thing we do in leader sports company before we reorganize. You
Mm.
can understand that, okay?
Yeah.
We go to their
Yeah.
social media pages. We find out more details about them from what they share on social media, because what you
Mm.
share on social media is also reflective of the kind of person you
That's
are.
who you are.
Not just what you
Yeah.
share, the things you
Mm.
like, the
Yeah.
comments you make. You
Mm.
understand? The things you like.
Yes.
People do not pay attention to that one. Someone that
Because it's
values
so
leadership.
easy.
Someone that,
Just put it
yes,
up. Like it's so easy to
yes,
do.
I'm someone that values integrity. Then you now see me liking something that does not have to do with what I value. So if someone that is okay, maybe looking at me as a leader now goes on social media and sees a post that is maybe a negative post, and sees that Kingsley Chukwuma liked
Liked
the
by
post.
Kingsley.
So, you
Like
know,
what
share
is
there.
happening
You understand?
here?
Digital
Yeah.
footprints, very, very important. Very, 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 very important. We must be mindful of the
Mm.
things we share. If you know
Okay.
you want to be something in life, see, see, there are several instances where
Mm.
where people's digital footprints have destroyed their lives. I heard
True.
of one story, I think not so recent, that one beauty pageant won the beauty award, but they went back to our
Yeah.
social media and saw that they put something that was wrong, and they collected their award back. Do you understand?
Wow. Wow.
So even in my university,
Mm.
if you they keep telling us, if you even graduate and you do something wrong on social media, if they catch you, you will withdraw your certificate. So
Wow.
it's that important as young people that we mind how our footprints are on social media. Social media is very, very good. Very, very good. It
Mm.
can amplify your voice. It can give you a platform. It can give you a
Yeah.
platform. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen people that have risen to fame on the wings of social media.
Yes.
Look at my account. I've been struggling to grow the followership of my account for like 2 years or 3 years. But in
Okay.
just a space of 4 months, my followers increased from 1,000 to 11,000. Do you
Wow.
understand?
Yeah.
Understanding how your digital footprint works, and also interlinking it with your digital literacy is very, very important. Do not just put
Mm.
things, reason before you act. Don't just act on emotions.
Mm.
Like, I know your blood is boiling, but before you
Yes.
react, before you like that
Yeah.
tweet, before you like
Mm.
that post on Instagram, before you post that thing, think about
Mm.
the consequences. Ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself some critical questions. Ask yourself in
Mm.
the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, if I come back to this post, will it reflect the kind of person I want to be? Will
Be
my
yes.
children be proud of this kind of post?
Mm.
I'm posting my news on social media. Will my children be proud of it? If my children will be proud, that's fine. If that's what your value system is, that's fine. But I know personally, my children will not be proud if I come on social media and
At
post
all.
news. Do you
At
understand?
all.
So
Yeah.
you have to be mindful of these things.
Mm.
How your digital footprint affects interlink with your media literacy. How it makes or breaks you, especially
Mm.
our Gen Zs, especially our
Yes.
millennials. That everybody's boiling. Everybody is using social
Mm-hmm.
media. Everybody wants to express their thoughts. Everybody
Thoughts.
wants to
Mm.
be heard. Nobody wants to listen to the other person. We must
Mm.
one thing I've learned in life is to be more of a listener than the person that is speaking. Listen
Mm.
more and speak less. You understand?
Mm.
When you
Yeah.
listen more and you speak less, you do not just react to things on social media.
True. I
Yes.
agree. Thank you so much. You've really done justice. And I see the questions you gave us on critical thinking come
Okay.
into play in that. Like before you
Yeah.
post anything, think about it. What is this post going to do? Where is it
What's the
heading to?
outcome?
Who
Yes.
would see it? What's the
The,
outcome?
the person posting it, what is his motive? Some of them,
Exactly.
it's just the drive on their page, engagement on their page.
Exactly.
What is the motive?
Motive. Yes. Once you see a post, you check it through with these questions. When you want to make a post too as a leader or somebody who is very like you're always on the online space, check it through these questions too, and like it just helps you be guided really.
Yeah.
So
Yes. I think someone asked
there's
the
just one.
question.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I want to tie that question to one last question on my
Okay.
end here, but it touched on the other things. My own question is the practical steps. If you can just give us some practical steps on how individuals can resist the negative effects of herd mentality, media influence, and leadership decisions. And then this person is asking. I hope you got that question.
Mm.
Just some practical
Can you read
steps.
it?
Okay. No, I'm talking about the last question on my end. Then
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to tie it down to this, to what the person has
Okay.
asked. I'm saying that just offer us some practical steps individuals can take to resist the negative effects of herd mentality, media influence, and leadership decisions. Then tying it to what this person is saying, this person is asking that what about when you're in a situation where things are going wrong and you feel
Okay.
like correcting them, but they don't take the person's words as something, like they look down on the person? What would the person do? Obviously, this person is in that herd wherever you are, it's not contributing to positive change, right? So, and this person now is feeling like, okay, I should correct them, talking about that independent thinker thing, right?
Yeah.
And then we have those that are still there that maybe they don't want to even talk about it, but they are thinking of how they can resist the influence of being in this kind of situation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the two questions are different.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
for your own question, I think I've answered it over and over, but I'll just go through
Over.
again.
Yeah.
When you answer your
Yeah.
own question,
Okay.
a situation where things are wrong, when people ask questions like this,
Mm.
I'm not able to answer.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a name, Ogimoyi. I'm not so quick to answer because I do not know the truth about the whole question, the context the question is being asked from. You understand?
Mm.
So it might even be that you are wrong yourself.
Mm.
It might be that you are wrong. Do you understand? So if you
Mm.
don't tell me the full details, I would not know how to answer. I'm very, very scared to answer
Correctly.
to respond to questions like this. Yes, because
Okay.
yourself, you might think that you are right. Being an independent
Mm.
being an independent thinker does not mean that you're always right as well.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
does not mean that you're always right too. You might
Yes.
just be the one that is in danger while other people are running to safety. You're in danger.
Mm.
Do you get so
Mm. Yeah.
so it's very, very tricky. But then if you feel that you are right and they're not budging, they're not listening to you, depends on the social context actually. It's if it's a group, if it's something that is beyond your control, I think
Mm-hmm.
you can just let it go. But if it's something that you can control and they're not listening, I think you can also try talking to other members of that same group.
Okay.
That should work.
I think you've
Yes.
done justice. And even if the person can go back to the beginning of this talk when we were talking about being an independent thinker, right? And also, I see these critical thinking questions come into play again. You are
Okay.
thinking they are wrong, okay, but what is the overall picture? Where are they going to? Because, like you said, leadership styles differ.
Exactly.
The way you may
Exactly.
want to lead people, it may be different from me, but we are going the same place. Like, I mean, we're going to the same place. We are heading
Yeah.
towards the same direction. So
Yeah.
you may have to think about all of these things, answering all of these questions together. So we've come to
Yeah.
the end of today's session. Thank you. Who is online? We have 3 people online.
Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question? No, that's okay.
My own question on resisting negative effects.
The last question you asked, I think
Okay,
I've answered it
you've
already. Yeah.
answered it in different ways, but
Yeah.
I just wanted like you to
Maybe,
tie it together.
let me just give a recap. Um,
Okay.
I've said cultivate critical thinking skills. I've
Yeah.
talked about it. And questions you should ask. Um, practice self-reflection.
Hmm.
Practice self-reflection. Practice self-reflection. I do it a lot, and it's very, very important that everyone practices self-reflection. Engage with different
Hmm.
perspectives. Everybody sees, but everyone sees differently. We
Indeed.
are both seeing the same thing, but we are seeing we are seeing different things. You
True.
understand?
Yeah.
Everyone everyone sees, but people see differently. Engage, be open to different perspectives, perspectives that are different from your own. That is what makes us learned. That is what makes us illiterate. That is what makes us media literate, digital literate. Be open to other perspectives that are, don't shut your mind. Some people are fond of shutting their minds from anything that is not their perspective. They don't want to listen to it. Be open to engaging with different perspectives. Your own mind is not always right. That is what makes you an independent thinker. That is what enhances your critical thinking skills. You understand?
Yeah.
Don't be a one man soldier. I'm always right. I'm always wrong. The fact that you're always right means you're always wrong. Be open to different perspectives. And lastly, is just to practice some media literacy. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. You've really done justice to all of the questions. I wonder how the book would be. Like, what it would be like if going through all of this on the surface. It
Yes,
would be deep.
this is just the surface.
Bolosife is saying value packed as always. Yes, thank you for joining. Who else is here? He's Fola. Thank you so much for joining. And Mr. Kento, do you have any other thing to add or say as we end the session?
I don't really have anything to say. We've said it. We've said everything. I love that quote you gave. I love that quote you gave. I love the quote. I think it just summarizes everything.
Yeah. And I love the answer you gave too. Because I remember asking a question after giving the quotes. I think that was when you broke down the questions under critical thinking. I think it's very powerful.
Thank you very much. That quote. Let me read that quote again. So everyone that joins this call sees that quote. It said, "When we are unsure of ourselves." Sorry about that. When we are unsure of ourselves, when the situation is unclear or ambiguous, when uncertainty reigns, we are most likely to listen to and accept the actions of others as correct. You see, I think the quote is self-explanatory. It's just like it encompasses everything we talked about this evening.
Exactly. And I love that you added self-reflection here. Because if you don't have self-reflection, like if you don't take out time to reflect on your person, reflect on your goals, build your values, you will not be able to navigate the society in this era where we have the herd mentality working aggressively, plus the new media effects. You will not be able to navigate it. Yes, because I hear you talking about values, having your values, using it to know which leader will I follow, who am I going to listen to, and all of that. So it's very important practicing self-reflection as a leader, as a person, and leading positive change.
I think I also need to mention something too. I love that question the lady asked, because it also means sometimes we might be wrong and we think that we are independent thinkers. So so there are a lot of factors that come into play, such as the social context. That's why I said I might not be able to answer that question since I don't know the angle from which she was asking that question. Social context is very, very important. Sometimes we might think that we are the ones that are right while we are the ones that are wrong. Understand? And like I've always said on the call, sometimes it's good to follow the crowd, and sometimes it's good to think independently. Self-reflection will help you to know if you are the one that is making the mistake, if you are the one that is being biased. Like the situation I mentioned about myself, I was being biased. I was being biased, obviously, but I was quick to react because it was the social context was a particular political group I belonged to. You understand? So I was quick to react. I was being biased. So we need to self-reflect to ask ourselves, am I wrong or are these people right? Ask yourself those critical thinking questions. What is my own motive? What are my own values? Weigh them with that particular social context that you're defining. Yes.
True. That's powerful. Thank you for like hitting the nail on the head in that area. It just really helps me to know.
For being my webinar partner.
Thank you. You're welcome too. Okay. Yes. So that'll be all. for now, right? We are done.
Yes,
Do
that's
you
all.
have
Please
any
follow
parting
our
word?
account,
Okay.
follow Leaders Sport account for future webinars. Just follow these accounts if
Yes,
you're not
please.
following us before.
Yes.
And not just follow, I think everyone on this course should be following the accounts. You can also tell your friends to join to follow the account as well.
Yeah.
Together let's push leadership. Let's push leadership. Leadersport is a consulting company that is focused on changing, redefining leadership on the continent of Africa. So let's
Mhm.
change leadership together. Let's redefine the leadership landscape on the continent.
Yes. That's
And
what we're
thank you
about.
very much. Olaronke, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's been
for
amazing doing this.
having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everyone. Take care.
Okay,
Good
bye.
night
Good night.
or good morning whenever you're
Wherever
watching
you
the video.
are. Yes. Bye.